Hello everybody and welcome to another video on my channel. So in today's video I have a brand new product to me, or gel baseline I guess you can say, to me in my collection to kind of try out and review and show you some of the colors that come with it. So what this is the Egoista Professional's gel trial kit. So it comes with 6 different builder gels, a rubber top coat, 2 100-180 buffers, and 6 100-180 files. So this is a very comprehensive kit. It has a lot. All the gels are 15 milliliters or 1.06 ounces, which are very big trial size containers. Typically you get itty bitty, usually about 5 milliliters containers in trial kits. But this one has 6 15 milliliters, so you can do a lot of nails with this kit. So let's jump in, let's swatch out all these colors and get my first impression on the colors. I have seen Tender Rose, which is this one right here, before. I have gotten an itty bitty trial pack of it, however I've never used it on my nails before. So let's dive in, take a look at the colors, take a look at their viscosities, how they cure, and just see what I think about the Egoista Professional's Builder Gel formula. Alright, so first up I want to just talk about the files quickly. I really like 100-180 files. They are what I use typically. However, my distributor typically only carries 100 or 180-180, so I typically reach for the 100-100 ones, but I love 100-180 files, and I love the zebra files because I find that black files leave a grit around your nails, and white files I find they're typically not as abrasive, so they don't work as properly. However, I have never used, I don't even know what shape this is. Whatever shape of file this is, I've never used this shape of file before, so I'm definitely interested in trying these out. Typically I just use the straight ones with rounded edges, whereas this one has a little bit of a curve on the top, straight along the bottom but curved top. So I am excited to give these ones a try and see what I think of them. And then I'm going to be honest with you, I typically do not like buffers like this. They work really great for myself, however I dispose of all my files and everything, so I find that files this big and kind of this, they just take up a lot of space in my drawers, and I typically only use like this much. Like I use the little silk-lined pink buffers, so I find that these ones I waste a lot of, especially because they're two-sided. That's a lot of buffer to use in one set. So I typically don't buy these. They are more expensive, but I will give this one a try and see what I think of it. Okay, so first up, let's take a look at Egoista's Classic Clear. Okay, so this is Egoista's Classic Clear. It is a thicker viscosity. So you can see there, it's not super runny. It does look like it is self-leveling, but kind of a slower self-level. So it definitely looks to be a thicker consistency. It does self-level, and it does look to be fairly clear. So I'm just going to throw this on a swatch stick just to see if it happens to cure fully clear or if it cures with a little bit of cloudiness. And ignore my hands, I have really bad eczema on them. But let's give this a swatch. It moves really nicely actually for the thickness. However, I am used to working with a thicker builder. The builders I typically use are Fusion, which are a thicker builder, but that definitely does self-level, which is really nice, and it looks fairly clear. Okay, so this is how Classic Clear cured, and it does cure very, very clear. So this would be a great gel for encapsulating. And it does have a dispersion layer, but most builder gels do. So you would just have to wipe that off. And I cured it for 2 minutes in my UV lamp. It says they are soak-off UV gels. And that's what they all are. So that's kind of an interesting soak-off builder gel. You don't typically see that very often, but they are, it appears to be UV only. Okay, the next one I want to look at is Extreme White. And this is extreme white, so it is a very bright white. It would be great for doing competition pink and whites. It does look like it might need a little bit of a stir. So you can see along right here a little bit. I am going to give it a quick stir because I think it has separated a tiny, tiny bit. And one thing I'm going to note about these Egoistas that I've noticed opening the clear and then this one is these foil seals are very, very hard to get off, which is a good thing. It means it's not going to leak in shipping or anything. However, they are kind of a pain to try to take off. Okay, so this one is a much runnier gel than what that clear was, which makes me think this is more of a kind of paint-on white rather than a builder white. And white is very challenging to build with to begin with because it is very pigmented and it doesn't always cure properly. So I'm going to put a kind of medium layer on and we'll see if it will cure properly. Okay, yeah, I'd definitely say this is way more of a paint-on consistency rather than a builder. It is painting on very nicely. Alright, so this is about a medium. I painted it on, but not very thinly. So I'm going to cure this for 2 minutes and see if it fully cures or if it should be painted on in thin coats. Okay, so this just finished curing for 2 minutes. And I am just going to kind of touch it and push it and see if it feels like it is fully cured. Because, like I said, whites can be challenging. Actually, I'm going to wipe off the dispersion layer first. Okay, so I just wiped off the dispersion layer. And I am going to say it feels like that is fully cured to me. I definitely don't think I would recommend doing a thicker layer of this, but if you kind of paint it on but not in a super thin coat, you get really good coverage with that white. So that is really nice to add to my collection. Alright, so that is the extreme white. I definitely would not build with this, but it does have really nice pigment and it did fully cure in a kind of medium thickness coat. Alright, so up next we have the 4 different pinks that came in this trial pack. So we have Sunset, Crystal Pink, Elegant Rose, and Tender Rose. So I'm going to open them all up and show you what the color is, and then we will swatch them individually. Okay, so these are the kind of color ranges of the 4 that came in my trial pack. So Sunset, which is this one, is definitely the lightest, and it looks like a very sheer pink to me. Crystal Pink is definitely a little bit more vibrant of a pink, and it does look pretty sheer to me. These two up here look more like cover pinks in my opinion, and they look fairly similar. Elegant Rose looks to be a little bit darker, but let's swatch them, see what the viscosities of are them, and see which one's my favorite. Okay, up first we're going to start with Sunset, which is the lightest of the 4. And the Sunset looks to be almost a cloudy, peachy clear, if that makes sense. It definitely doesn't look like it would have very good coverage in terms of being a cover pink. I think it'll be more for kind of just hiding a little bit of imperfections when doing a French, but I definitely wouldn't consider this a cover pink. So the viscosity of this one is very similar to that classic clear. It's a thicker builder gel that looks like it will self-level, but you can see that it is quite transparent. So let's put this on a swatch stick and get a better idea of what the actual color is. Alright, so as you see there, it really doesn't have much payoff in terms of a cover pink. The one on the left is Sunset, and then the one on the right is just a blank swatch stick. So you can see it has a little bit of pink, but it really doesn't have that much color. And quite honestly, I don't know where it would belong in my collection. I don't know when I would ever use a pink that is this transparent. Maybe as a base, but I would always be covering it up with something else. But yeah, so let's cure it. Okay, so this is what Sunset looks like. So it is a very sheer pink. I personally would never use this color, but I know some techs would, and it's a nice product to work with. I just personally would never reach for a pink that is this sheer. So up next, let's take a look at Crystal Pink. And Crystal Pink is the brightest, and I say that in quotations because I have a feeling it will still be a transparent pink, but out of the other tones, this one has a lot more blue tones to it. So let's swatch it and see what the viscosity is and see what we think of this one. So the viscosity of this one is, again, very similar to that clear and what that Sunset was, which I feel like all of the kind of pinks will be this viscosity, thicker viscosity that does self-level quite nicely. And I think I'm correct in saying that this is a transparent cover pink. I know lots of people like using these as their base. Wouldn't recommend it really to kind of use as a nude cover pink as a color, but it would work good as a base, I think. Same with that Sunset. So let's put it on a swatch stick. Okay, so let's cure that. Alright, so this is what Crystal Pink is. So you can still see that line of my background paper. So it is still transparent. However, this one would still be a really nice one if you're doing a pink and white, just to give that natural nail a little bit more of a pink color. Alright, up next we have Tender Rose. And this one, right off the bat, appears to be more of a cover pink in my opinion. I don't think it should be as transparent as the last two I've shown you. And what I mean by cover pink, I mean it hides anything on the base. It's kind of more of a colored gel almost, but that's what this one reminds me of. And with these type of ones, I like using them as a base, and you can use them as a full color like I have on my nails. Ignore the grow out, I will be doing them in this video, so keep watching. But I like using, this is just it's a Visions gel product, but it's a cover pink. So that's what I like doing with this type of cover pink. Again, that same nice thick viscosity, which is my preference for working with. And I would definitely think this one will have more coverage than what the last two have had. Okay, so that is Tender Rose. So I am going to cure that, but you can definitely see that it is more of a full camouflage cover pink, because you cannot see this line underneath on my paper like you could with the other ones. So let's cure that. Okay, so this is what Tender Rose looks like. And I absolutely love this color. It is a very, very pretty cover pink color. I think it will be perfect color for majority of my clients. It appears to be very similar to what Fusion Repairs is, and that is my go-to cover pink right now. So this one, as you see, covers that line underneath here completely, so it would camouflage any flaws you have in your client's nail bed. It appears to be just a very pretty overall nice cover pink, and I would definitely use it as a color on my clients as well. Okay, and then up last we have Elegant Rose. Elegant Rose is the darkest cover pink in my opinion. I think it will have very good coverage, similar to what Tender Rose just had as well. So viscosity appears to be the same as well. Nice self-leveling, and it definitely looks like it will have more coverage as well. Alright, so there is Elegant Rose. I'm going to cure that. Okay, and this is Elegant Rose, which definitely looks to be more pinky than what Tender Rose did, but again, a very, very nice cover pink. It hides that line underneath on my background paper very nicely. I'm just going to grab Tender Rose and we will compare the two really quickly. Okay, so here are the two side by side, and there really isn't that much difference. Tender Rose is the one on the right and Elegant Rose is the one on the left. Elegant Rose just has a slightly, almost more transparent look and a little bit pinkier. But I definitely don't think you need both of them in your collection. I think one or the other would be completely fine. They're both gorgeous colors, but I think they're just very repetitive. Okay, so here are all 4 of the cover pinks. I personally would never ever use Sunset. I really don't understand what the purpose of such a sheer pink is. And I really strongly think that Tender Rose and Elegant Rose are very similar, that you would definitely not need both of them in your collection. My personal preference would be Tender Rose, just because it is slightly more opaque than what Elegant Rose is, but Tender Rose and Crystal Pink definitely would have a space in my collection. They are all a very nice formula. I enjoyed working with them. They're all very easy to use. Keep in mind that I am used to working with a thicker gel. If you are used to working with a thinner one, you may struggle with these ones slightly, but I am used to working with a thick gel like this. Which one of these was your favorite? I would love to hear down in the description box below. And right now I'm going to do a fill on my nails, and I think I'm going to use Tender Rose and just see how this gel holds up, how strong it is once it is used on my nails, and I will give you a report back on it in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so these are my nails. This is my dominant hand, so it will be a little bit harder. I've already done my non-dominant hand in this really pretty kind of iridescent design. I will walk you through the steps I did to do this design while doing my dominant hand. So things will be a little bit more challenging because I am very much right-handed, but my battery was dead when I did my left hand, so I will show you what I do when I do my right hand. So to start off, I have just removed all the product and buffed off any of the natural shine. There is still a little bit of old gel on there, but we will just cover it up. So first off, I'm going in with my Can West Nail Primer. This is an acid-based primer. I have removed all the dust and everything off my nails with gel cleanser. Alright, so we have the primer applied. This will dry to a kind of chalky finish. I don't typically wait for it to dry. Sometimes it'll be dry before I apply the gel, sometimes not. I don't wait. I don't find that it makes a difference. So I'm going to actually jump right from the primer right into using the Egoista Tender Rose color, which is the base color I have behind these nails. Okay, and then once I get that applied how I want it, I'm going to cure for 2 minutes. Okay, so that is cured for 2 minutes now, so I am just going to go in and do the other 4 nails, and then I will be right back. It's just really hard to film this hand, and it's a challenge to do in the first place, let alone to do and film. So I will come back when I have all 5 of the nails applied with the Tender Rose. Okay, so I have applied the Tender Rose color to all 5 nails now, and what I'm going to do next is use my hand file to shape the edges, and then go in with my electric file to just smooth out the tops, and then I will check back in. Okay, so I have now filed them and shaped them the way I want them, and I have smoothed them all out, but I have filed through a little bit of the Tender Rose color, but I'm not too concerned because I am adding the flakes on top. So let's jump in to that flake portion. So I am taking Egoista's Classic Clear, and with the Classic Clear I'm just going to apply a thin layer on all of the nails, just to give me a little bit of a sticky layer. Okay, so I have that thin layer of clear on, and I am not curing it right now. And then I'm going in with these flakies, and I believe they're called Candy Chrome from Profile Backstage, but I will for sure look it up and add it in a little box down here. But this is the Pink Lemonade one, so it has a really pretty kind of green to pink shift to it. And all it is little iridescent flakies. So what I'm doing is going in with just a nail brush. This one is for my glitters. And I'm just going to dip it a little bit in the clear just to get it sticky so it'll pick up the flakes. And then I'm just going to dump it in the flakes and it will pick some up. And then I am just going to tap it into that wet clear layer and just kind of spread those flakes around. The more you tap and play with it, the more it breaks up the flakes. And for this look, I don't want a chrome look, but I don't want the big flakies either. And then we're just going to repeat that on all the nails. Okay, so now that I have those flakes applied to all 5 nails, I'm just going to go around and clean up around the edges a little bit, and then we are going to cure it for 2 minutes. Okay, so that has cured for the 2 minutes now, and now I am going to go in with the Egoista rubber top coat. And rubber top coats tend to be a little bit thicker, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to end up doing 2 coats of the rubber top coat. I'm going to do 1 coat to kind of seal in these flakies, cure that, come out, buff that, and then do a finishing top coat. So let's put on the top coat. So this layer is just going to kind of give me a little bit of protection when I go to buff it, so I don't just buff off all those flakies I just applied. This is going to seal them in, and then I can buff off any ones that are sticking straight up to leave me with this smooth finish. You can definitely also embed these and then use your e-file and file on top, but because I used that pink color to build, I just wanted to put these on top. So we are going to just do 2 coats of top coat, and that will buff them to a nice smooth finish. Okay, so I'm going to cure that for 2 minutes. Okay, so I have just removed the inhibition layer from that rubber top coat layer. And then I'm going in with the Egoista Professional's 100-180 buffer and just buffing these smooth. There is a little bit of one sticking up, I don't know if you can see, of the flakies, so we're just going to buff them smooth, and then we'll be ready for the final layer of top coat. Then I always just give them a quick little feel to see if I can feel any of those flakes sticking up still. And those are feeling pretty good to me, so I'm going to wipe off the dust. And now we're going to apply the final layer of the Egoista rubber top coat. And now cure for 2 minutes. Alright, and here is the finished product. I absolutely love these flakies, and that tender rose color is the perfect base for them. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me kind of reviewing the Egoista Professional's trial pack that I purchased. And I hope you enjoyed the fun little mini tutorial on these kind of super glam nails, but super easy. Have you guys used any of the Egoista products? They have a super wide range of products. They have a ton of different cat eyes, some color changing, some holographic ones, some gel polishes. It is really a very comprehensive line. So let me know what you guys thought. Would you purchase any of these? Have you used them? Which one was your favorite? Just leave me any feedback down below and stay tuned for my next video. Bye for now.